Hey guys, it is I, Kuroninja, and when Gavan Infinity was announced, one of the things I wanted to do was review its 25th episode. Unfortunately, Gavan Infinity was only 23 episodes long, but I found a solution. Since Omegahorn is connected to Gavan Infinity, I decided that I would review Omegahorn Episode 2 instead. And so, in Gavan Infinity Episode 25, Rui Amo and Kiki are arguing whether or not soda or ice cream is more refreshing. Setsuna is asked to resolve the dispute but can't. Then they compromise with ice cream soda. Not much happened in Gavan Infinity Episode 25 except for the fact that Reiji isn't there. However, in Omegahorn, the Evil Alliance has someone named Reiji who receives a crab-themed kakuju as part of the spoils of battle. This Reiji doesn't seem interested in talking to anyone, but there must be a reason he's a high-ranking member of this group. That's not a lot of stuff to talk about, so I'm going to give my thoughts on Omegahorn. Kakusei Hunter Omegahorn has gone off to a great start. It only has one henshin hero, but aside from the fact that one of my predictions was wrong, I have no problem with that. You might argue that the hunters getting possessed by their kakuju counts as a henshin, but I disagree because they don't really fully transform. They just get extra strength or a powerful new weapon. The premise is also something I find interesting. Gavan Infinity had the expectations from Super Sentai and Metal Heroes fans, but Omegahorn is a completely brand new idea. In the world of Omegahorn, the power seems to be concentrated with the hunters, who collect Egor gears to summon monsters or channel their energy. These hunters seem to also be powerful warlords with their own territory. I watched a YouTube video about why heroes in Japan take a long time to introduce themselves. I'll put it in the description so you can watch it yourself. What the guy said in the video is that when samurai were about to duel, they would introduce themselves first so the winner could add it to their record. The way the hunters introduced themselves felt more like a battle between samurai than other shows where it's usually only the hero who introduces himself. The main source of power used by the hunters seems to be their ego, so it makes sense for them to want to know which hunters they defeated. Evil doesn't seem to care about his own record though, as in this episode he cut off his opponent's introduction before squashing him in his kakuju. Speaking of Evil, I have some speculation about him. I feel like he's gonna be revealed to have a connection to Azazorth, and it's either he's trying to protect the world from its forces or he's a part of them himself. Now, in the first two episodes of Omegahorn, there's a lot to talk about with the setting. Shout has only traveled to small towns so far, and the only city we've seen is the one under Evol's control. There's also a crashed Gavarion ship at the end of episode 1 and the beginning of episode 2, and it made me do some thinking. I believe that the world of Omegahorn doesn't have a Gavan, and then it fell into chaos because of that. The hunters are basically warlords who found the Egor gears and used them to establish their own territories, either to fill in the gap that this world's Gavan left behind and protect the people, or to gain more control for themselves. Evil happened to be the strongest because he had Zetsu and Kaku on his side, but with Shout coming into the picture, it seems like things are about to change. Now, what do I think of the fact that Project Red has a shared universe? I think having a bunch of different series that share the same story is okay and interesting, as long as each series or movie can still feel like its own thing. But one thing I like about a series like Kamen Rider is that the different series are standalone, so if you wanted to start watching, you could choose any season. I haven't seen all the Kamen Rider seasons, but I still enjoyed watching Kamen Rider ZO. The same goes with Super Sentai. There are still only 2 series in Project Red, but I'm a little worried about when there will be more because I don't know if it will become harder to get into the series as a newcomer. Anyway, that is all for this video. If you enjoyed, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and remember, I have nothing to do with Kuroninja.